What's up, guys? Ncaa 31 here, bringing you the HP Legends Online Dynasty, UCONN against CAL. I'm using my alma mater this year in this dynasty. UCONN, 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 for all you New Englanders out there. I'm just doing a little pre-game scouting. CAL's got a pretty good offensive team. Little light in the defensive department, but you know, they're a pretty good defensive team. I mean, offensive team, rather. Got a athletic quarterback, good back, decent receivers. They can do some things. UConn is... they're just kind of mediocre. They're not really a great fit for the run and shoot which I'm going to be running for them. They're built for a pro-style offense. They got a good running back, a really good tight end. Their quarterback's okay. The receivers are nothing to write home about. They're not very fast, not very elusive, not very explosive, not great route runners, not the smartest group of guys around. I got one guy on the outside who butchers the choice read all the time. And their hands absolutely rot. Dudes cannot catch. But I'm gonna build them up. Recruit, and get the pieces that I need to form a northeastern New England run and shoot offensive powerhouse. Defensively, I'm gonna roll with a 4-3 Tampa 2 style. Not really a great fit for that also. Well, they're okay. I have one really good defensive end on the left-hand side, your right-hand side. The other defensive linemen are hot garbage. Linebackers are solid, not great, just solid. Two pretty good press coverage corners, actually. Press man corners, and the safeties are adequate. But the D line is a bit of an issue. Outside of one dude. Just going to be a bit of a problem when I typically rush 4 or 5 guys. I try to avoid sending 6 or more as much as humanly possible. But, you know, in developing a Tampa 2 scheme for this year, in this game, there are times when you have to hell of a throw there. You know, the game doesn't really allow me to play a pure Tampa 2 for a variety of reasons. Like here, I'm in a cover 1. I first have to be a little bit more aggressive on first and second down to get to that situation where I can get that Tampa 2 3-deep umbrella going on. So I do a nice little big hit with the linebacker. I'm getting much better at user control. It's been a bit of a challenge. I've been practicing at it, and I'm almost, I would say that I'm almost to the point where I'm comfortable now.
And it is good.
It's not the easiest thing in the world. You're just not going to be able to roam around and make plays all over the field. I've pretty much learned that you have to focus on making the plays that you can make. It puts a lot more of an onus on your play calling and using your personnel to the best of its ability. Like, there's a perfect example of what I'm talking to these receivers. Dude gets belted, coughs the ball up. Looks like it hit the ground, but it gets ruled an INT. These guys do not hang on to the football very well, outside of my tight end. But as I was saying about user control, getting a lot more comfortable with it. And in a way, like I said, it eliminates, and I feel this is the direction the game is going. I think it's making a attempt, or EA is making an attempt to
First down.
Level the playing field, I guess, between people who can make good user plays, using their anticipation skills and stick skills to take things away and make game-changing user plays, and those who can't, who are a little bit weaker in that area. That's my own personal opinion. I feel like the game is going away from an emphasis, for better or for worse. I'm not really a big fan of it, but it's going away from an emphasis on individual stick skills and, at least offensively, becoming more of a spectator game, which I don't really like. I'm not really in love with that. I want to be engaged on defense. I want to feel like I'm an active participant as opposed to just being a traffic cop and watching what's going on. This guy's probably my best player. Him and my tight end, right? They're my two best players on offense. I can't forget about him. But, you know, Barry Sanders played in a run-and-shoot offense. If it's good enough for Barry Sanders, it's good enough for him.
At about the 13. Picked up a yard.
But I would be remiss, if my defensive end coming in, but I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the Drugie Badger. The Drugie Badger, the former LSU Tiger, Tyrann Matthews, no more. I never got caught up in the whole Honey Badger type hype. I've always felt he was a bit of an overrated player. He's small, he's slow, he's not a great cover guy. People threw at him all the time. He's a gambler. He gambles his way into
He's changing things up.
Big plays, obviously, but he also makes a lot of mistakes. And LSU is so loaded that they're able to cover for all of his gambling, which is why I feel like they're not going to miss him that much.
This team has so many.
I think they're going to go right on chugging along. Now, granted, he did have a knack for making big plays, and he's a good return man, so it's not like they're going to not miss him entirely, but I don't believe they're going to miss him as much as his name recognition will make you think. I just don't think he's as good as his highlights or his hype. He reminds me a lot of Terrell Buckley. If any of you guys remember T-Buck, former Florida State Seminole, had a good career as a nickel corner. Same kind of player. Small, you know, not that fast. Not really a pure cover guy, but a guy who took a lot of risks, a lot of gambles. Same type of player, and also a good return guy. I feel like they're a lot alike in that regard. I feel like that's the kind of career the Honey Badger is going to have in the NFL. He's going to be a nickel or dime corner, and will probably stick around for, you know, 8 to 10 years because he has a knack for making plays because of his gambling nature. He'll also burn you. And when I heard the news, I pretty much figured out right away that it had to have been a drug-related offense, because this is not, again, his name recognition and the clout that he has being a Heisman finalist. It's not a guy who you're going to kick off a team for missing curfew. It would have had to have been something major, and he had no real criminal background that I could recall other than failed drug tests, so it didn't take much to put together that it was more than likely a drug-related offense. He failed multiple drug tests, and NCAA rules are what they are. Team and university rules are what they are, and they felt like he had burned his rope. And that's a shame, you know. You don't want to see a young kid squander his college career and hurt his NFL draft status. If you figure that the guy was going to be a late first rounder, he's probably now going to be a late second, early third rounder now, more than likely, which will cost him a couple of $1 million in the short to intermediate term. But he's still going to have an NFL or a shot at an NFL future, so it's not like I'm feeling, you know, totally sorry for the guy. I don't believe we're going to have to start a Save the Honey Badger collection fund anytime soon. You know, he's going to have his shot to earn an NFL paycheck. But as far as the impact of his dismissal, I think it's overblown, overhyped, and it's not going to be much of a factor at all to LSU's season. LSU is so good up front. Their defensive line is just horrific. I mean, it's just a nightmare. I mean, you have a defensive tackle who made 57 tackles. That's sick. There are linebackers who don't do that. They're defensive ends. Mingo, Montgomery, maniacs. They're as deep as the ocean with strong, fast, NFL caliber defensive linemen. And that's what separates their defense. Well, Alabama's like that also. Just NFL, prototypical NFL talent on the defensive line. Just nasty, nasty athletes. And, you know, the secondary is not going to be mistaken for the Sixers as a poor either. They have a lot of talent there as well, but when you have a strong front four, linebackers that tend to kind of get overshadowed but are still very good players, they'll be good enough to get by with. LSU's season is going to be determined by how efficient their offense is, and more importantly, what production they get out of the quarterbacks and wide receivers as opposed to their defense. Their defense will be the least of their worries.
They'll go with the option.
Blown up speed option here. But anyhow, pretty soon I'm going to do a college football preview video as I play an online game. That'll be coming pretty soon. Let me pose this question to you guys. Who you guys think are some of the more overrated teams in this year's game? My list would include in no particular order all of the Florida teams. Every year the Florida teams are overrated, even when they deserve to be overrated. I love Notre Dame Fighting Irish, but Notre Dame is just entirely too good. Clemson, I hate playing Clemson more than any team in this game. I think Taj Boyd is the best quarterback in this game. I'd rather have Taj Boyd than have Matt Barkley. And I have a friends list game where I'm playing against USC where Matt Barkley makes just crazy good throws. I'd rather have Taj Boyd instead. He can throw the ball and he's a maniac on the move.
At the 25-yard line.
Those are the ones, those are the teams that pop into my mind on the overrated list. Georgia, overrated, I would say, as of right now. Texas.
That's how you catch a football.
I'd probably have to put Oregon in that category also because I don't think people realize just how well Darren Thomas ran that offense. And I think they're going to find out this year. Oregon will still be beast, but I think Darren Thomas was a guy who was kind of taken for granted. And did a really good job operating that offense. Ohio State, I'll throw them in the overrated category as well for this game. So what are some of your thoughts as to who are among the most overrated teams in the game and teams you just hate playing against online? Going for two, and he gets stuffed. Get the onside kick back with no incident, and I'll take a knee and get out of here. I'm actually 1-1 in user games. I didn't record the first user game of this season. I can't do everything. I record a lot of stuff, but this is user game number 2. Good game, well played, and I'll be providing you with more content like this throughout this college football season. Hope you guys enjoyed, and look forward to seeing me build up my alma mater. Hopefully have UConn basketball at the level of UConn basketball. See what I just did? UConn football on the level of UConn basketball before the year is out. So, talk to y'all later. Hope y'all enjoyed. Peace.
And for Griffin, he earns Player of the Game recognition for helping his team to a victory. For Connecticut, this is a nice way to rebound from their opening loss. And for Cal, they start out the season on the losing end. So that wraps things up for us. For EA Sports, Aaron Andrews and Kirk Herbstreit, Brad Nessler saying thanks, and we'll see you next time.